Today's quest: clean this dirty, moldy Traeger grill. I'm your NPC today, Will. This is Rolling Bones Barbecue, where we're half man, half meat, half veggie. Today's weapons: Home Depot bucket with a trash bag, wire brush. People probably don't want me using this, but I'm not scared. Reynolds wrap tinfoil, black gloves, scraper, sponge, vinegar, water, soap. Normally I might not use soap, but today we're going for it because it's nasty. Shop towels, shop vac, conveniently match. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is get in there with some tinfoil and scrape off that mold.
I started with the tinfoil versus the brush because I didn't want to get my brush moldy, since that thing tends to get clingy with what's on it. Mold is gross. Once we got the top side, we flipped the grate over and did the same with the bottom. That's when we went in with the wire brush and scraped everything down. I'm going to use this notch on the brush to get any trouble spots that the wires couldn't handle. Now I'm going to go in there and spank that heat deflector's bottom, metaphorically of course. We're going to scrape it and get off some of that rust. We're doing this all into the bottom because we're going to vacuum it out later. This thing is steel, so I'm not afraid of a little elbow grease. I really got in there and removed everything. From there we sprayed the rusty metal with the vinegar, water, soap solution and let it sit for 30 minutes to an hour to hopefully pull some of that rust off. While that was happening, we got back to working. Pulled this box off and gave it a spanking. Lots of spanking going on in this video. More spanking. We're not done spanking. Then we took our bench scraper and started scraping the crud down the sides. In this process, we started cleaning top to bottom so all the debris would catch in the bottom when we did this step, so we only had to clean and vacuum it once. This bench scraper is key when there's a lot of hard fat stuck in the bottom. You can use a little force to get it out. If you're worried about scraping the middle of your smoker, you can use a plastic scraper. Carry those at your local hardware store. Check this stuff out, it's straight gross. Real nasty, look at that hunk. This is where the Home Depot bucket comes to play. We're going to remove that crud with our hands. These black gloves are key to keeping it all clean. It all being you. Now we go in with our cleaning solution, spray it down, let it sit for a bit, hoping to pull some of the rust out, get some of the mold. Then we want to wipe it down to get some of that gunk off. We're not worried about perfection here because at the end we're going to superheat this thing for a few hours. Just get the visible liquid and junk. Then we vacuum out the pellet debris. I've got a shop vac to help me out with this step. I use this shop vac for everything. This smoker, my mill scale smoker, the shed. We're going to clean the outside of the smoker. Be a little careful with the electronics, but I don't like being too careful. Now wipe me down. Keep wiping. Okay, so now we reassemble the smoker. We just put it back in reverse order because we're going to burn everything out. So what that means is I'm going to run the smoker at its hottest setting for a couple hours, which means 450. That'll make sure any mold is killed off. I'm also going to add a little bit of beef tallow to this steel plate to see if we can give it a seasoning. Want to protect it a little bit because it's got this rust on it. Probably not a necessary step, but I thought it was a nice one to do. Gonna rub some of the edges down while I have the oil on the rag. Get the grates on there. Look at that, looking so much cleaner already. Bump the temp all the way up, 450. Ignite. A few hours later, this is what we're working with. Got a little bit of seasoning on the steel. We're gonna take everything out because I wanted to cover this heat plate with tin foil. That way when I cook, I can take the tin foil off and on to replace and keep it all clean. We brushed out any ash from that cook. Tossed it in our bucket. I should have spanked something again here, but I didn't. And then I reassembled for the last time. Tinfoil heat plate. The tinfoil really makes it look like we cleaned this sucker. We did clean this sucker. You could probably go down a whole rust rabbit hole with that heat deflector. This was so easy and now we're clean.
Boom, baby, and just like that, we're clean. We're not brand spanking new, but we're clean enough to eat off of. Eat barbecue, live forever.